You guys ready? Call to order the Ironton City Council meeting of August 28, 2025. With us this evening is Reverend Jeff Kermans from City Mission Church to give our invocation, and we'll follow with the Pledge of Allegiance if everyone would remain standing for that. Pastor?
Our Father, we come to you today seeking your wisdom and guidance and direction, Father, in the business here at hand. We pray that you would just guide each one, and Father, it would be the best for our city. Go with us, we ask. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Brown.
Here.
Cleary.
Here.
Amy.
Here.
Harvey.
Here.
Hawk.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Terry.
Next is the approval of minutes for our regular council meeting minutes of August 14th, 2025, and the Finance Committee meeting minutes of August 14th, 2025. Are there any errors, omissions, addition to those meeting minutes? Those will stand as approved. Mr. Haney?
Make a motion to deviate from the original agenda and read communication reports first. Or, I'm sorry, communications and ordinances first.
Nate? Second. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
If you could start with communications, we have a Ohio Division of Liquor permit.
Make a motion to request another hearing.
I was waiting on Bob, but he missed it.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
No.
Cleary.
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Next is ordinance 2535. If the clerk could please give that first reading by title.
Changing the date of the regular council meeting scheduled for December 25, 2025 to December 22, 2025. First reading.
Bob?
Make a motion that we suspend the rules and give ordinance 2535 second, third reading by title. It's weird that we got ordinance number 25. Christmas is 25th.
Chris?
Second.
Yeah, I assume whoever the makeup of the new council is does not want to meet on Christmas Day. So I think we're going to sponsor that legislation. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
If the clerk could please give ordinance second and third reading of ordinance 2535 by title.
Changing the date of the regular council meeting scheduled for December 25th, 2025 to December 22nd, 2025. Second reading. Changing the date of the regular council meeting scheduled for December 25th, 2025 to December 22nd, 2025. Third reading.
Bob?
Make a motion we adopt ordinance 2535.
Haney?
Second.
Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Ordinance 2535 is adopted, and our second December meeting is Monday, December 22nd, rather than Christmas Day. If the clerk could please give first reading to ordinance 2536.
Prohibiting the cultivating, processing, distributing, dispensing, testing, or selling of medical marijuana and adult use cannabis and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Any discussion? We had a we had a discussion in strategic planning around this to send a resolution, which Nate and I are going to draft for our next meeting, to our state representative about the carve out for municipalities with the marijuana tax. That they seem to have forgotten that the original language included municipalities, and we would bear the burden of enforcement and police and that kind of thing. So we're going to refresh their memory before we act on this ordinance with a resolution and a letter. So, if the clerk could please give second reading to ordinance 2533 by title.
Amending the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Bob.
I'd like to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2533 third reading by title only.
Chris.
Second.
That got recommendation from our finance committee, favorable recommendation at the last meeting, correct?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
The rules have been suspended to give ordinance 2533 third reading by title only. If the clerk could please give ordinance 2533 third reading by title only.
Amending the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Bob.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2533.
Chris.
Second.
Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Resolutions, there are none. If we will return to audience participation, and we have invited guests to go with us this evening from IBI, Kevin Wood, Rick Jensen from Friends of Ironton, Ralph Klein, CAO, Port Authority, to give us an update on the riverfront.
Never mind.
You guys, yeah.
I had to read it says that contract on the last one was read, but then further down it says adopted, so I was just making sure.
And just to warn you, Mr. Haney may walk out mid-sentence. It's because he's got another task, and that's to beat Wheeler's record tonight.
That's important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll kind of start off a little bit. I mean, we are making progress, although most of the folks probably would not consider it progress. The progress that we have made is that we've gone through the environmental review / permitting piece for the Army Corps of Engineers, enough that since we have an ODNR timeline project for the playground and volleyball courts, that they have allowed us to go forward with only those two items on the project, given that we stay away from flood wall and do different things, don't dig any deeper or whatever, so that it's what we feel that we can live within the parameters of things. So I've been working with the mayor's office and things like that, and we're trying to get the project put together. We have to go through an ODNR approval process. We're in that process now. We've had a couple of questions, especially as far as matches and stuff like that, so we're getting that. So we should be able to go out through the appropriate procurement processes, which can be varied or whatever, to get that. And hopefully, our goal is to make completed or whatever by the 12/31 timeline that we have within the ODNR grant, because we really don't want to ask for another extension on that grant. Although with the Corps you can probably justify it, but we feel that it's a time doable thing. So now that's only for the ODNR. For the ACGP, we are working through the permitting process. And you got the last report on the permitting process. You want to report out on that?
Yeah, I mentioned it on my report a couple weeks ago when I was here, but as it relates to the riverfront improvement from the water up to the retaining wall, I think I passed that sketch out, that rendering out last time I was here. The mussel relocation has been completed. The mussel subconsultant tells us they will have the report completed next week, which will go to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Army Corps for their review. They tell us, our permitting people tell us that once they have reviewed that, they will grant the Section 7 permit, which would allow work above the ordinary high water mark to be completed on the riverfront. As Ralph indicated, the playground, they've already pre-approved because that's kind of up away from it and we're not excavating very deep. But the work above the seawall and dock, we're hopeful soon after that muscle report goes in that we will hear from U.S. Army Corps that that work can be completed or begun.
And to add to that, just a reminder, that part has all been bid out through the construction manager at risk CMR process, that type of thing. So we have contractor, which is Allard in this case. They have been there, approved. Everything is there, so it's not like we have to go through trying to procure out different pieces. And so, but we can release him to go ahead and start work on portions of the project, as long as we know we have budget to complete the balance of it and things. But we can go ahead and proceed. So that's hopeful, because that being said, then that should allow construction some for the remaining construction season this year and not throw it on to next summer.
Yeah, so we're continuing to work the plant or this rendering the site aerial that I passed out last week or 2 weeks ago, as I indicated. We're continuing to tweak and finalize those site plans. And our structural team is continuing to work on the dock seawall plan as well. The work above the ordinary high water mark, our goal is to have those plans completed by the end of September, and hopefully by that time we will have approval from the Corps for that work to begin soon after September. The work below the ordinary high water mark on the dock and seawall, since U.S. Army Corps has determined that a 408 permit is required because previously federal money was spent applying rock channel protection to the shoreline. So whenever you're going to disturb previously spent federal money, the project requires a 408 permit, which we are working with the Corps on. But that permit, our permitting crew and staff and the Corps tell us that will push any work on the dock past the first of next year. So that work won't start in the coming months. That would be after January 1st at some point. We're getting everything on our end done and working with the Corps. We have ongoing calls on obtaining that permit, but they have their 120-day review period. They're allowed for that, so we're plodding through that process, but we know we won't have it by the end of the year. So, and the contractor's aware of that.
So it was my understanding that we have, and then maybe you can help fill in the blanks here, but that we have until the end of this calendar year, December 31st, to complete that with our Corps of Engineer application.
No.
Is that not the
This
case?
December 31st, the deadline is the ODNR for the playground equipment and volleyball courts. That's that small $75,000 grant.
So we don't have to start the permitting process all over again at the end?
No, they gave us that. So no, the permitting process has been in there probably May or whatever. I can't remember the beginning on it. And there's two permits: the Section 7, which is the area which is above the high water mark, and then there's the 408, which is that part which was core improvements. Now, those are ACDP funds, and those are to be completed by October 31st of 2026. So, I mean, we're in there, but we really need to get, a lot of the work is above the high water mark. And that being said, if we could get it by September, that still gives them a couple of good months construction time for above the high water mark. Then it's a matter, and it's not only Ironton project, But basically, any project that we got a 408 permit, they're probably going to be, it's going to be next construction season for any of those 408 permits. And right now, my guess is of the projects we're administering, there's probably 12 to 15 of them that's going to be 408 permits. So.
And since we were working through all this permitting on the larger ACGP project, the playground project that Ralph was talking about, which is really a separate standalone project, but it requires permitting as well. So we've incorporated that into the overall site permitting, knowing that that permit would be necessary. So the Corps agreed to allow that portion to be built first while we are getting through all the other permitting.
The container vendors, for lack of a better term.
It's another project. You
There's
look at it
really
3 different ways.
Yeah, that's a previous, of which Corps had already approved and worked through all of that to where we can get the containers in there. They worked.
It's above the high water mark.
Yeah.
Yes, it's above the high water mark and away from the flood walls and yeah, we worked through all of that. That was last year, wasn't it? I'm thinking that was last year's project, 24-25 permitting process with Corps. Yeah, so if it's anything helpful, I think we're doing better. The trail downriver, it took us 18 months to get that permit approval. So I think we're making good progress. They have been cooperative, and it has helped with some urging from the state governor's office and things to give it attention.
What has Portsmouth done differently than us? They are.
Portsmouth is that kind of thing. They are right now, if they could go ahead and proceed on their section 7, which is above the ordinary high water mark, but Historic came back and they have to do so many digs in one section and core drillings looking for archaeological features and so on. So that's probably going to put them to begin starting construction, assuming they don't find anything archaeological that they have to mitigate or whatever beforehand, probably November of this year. Yeah, they did a groundbreaking. Groundbreaking doesn't equal being able to start. So
they seem significantly ahead, at least.
And they read, well, part of theirs, the part that was the boat docks or whatever, that was a prior project that they've been in, probably the permitting process, probably at least a year beforehand. So that's separated. It's not ours. And they basically they redesigned their project to make sure that everything under the ACGP is outside of the ordinary high water mark. So, but the archaeological is the bugaboo on that one. So,
Which to add to the part about the groundbreaking, so they're looking at a groundbreaking in a couple weeks.
oh yeah,
Here, waiting on the governor's office to confirm the date and time.
yeah. They've asked us to give them some potential dates, and they want to do a thing for our project. So confusing, isn't it?
The city invested a substantial amount of money, let's say 3 to 4 years ago, for the project, and heard just different dates throughout the time when it's going to be completed and open for the public. I keep getting questions from everybody in the public. So is there a conservative date that we can pass along that is going to be open and ready for business?
I assume you're referring to the containers in the first phase of the project, correct?
If it's phased or if it's all together or whatever. Either or. Everybody's asking me and I don't know what to tell them because I've told them dates in the past and it hasn't come to fruition. So I'd like to know something to be able to tell them conservatively, maybe like this has to be done because the funding has to be spent by this date. So maybe it's 2 years from now. I don't know. I don't know what to tell people. So is there something what would you recommend that we pass along as far as when it'll be open for people to to use.
Well, I think Rick needs to speak on that part. Now, the rest of it, I mean, I think we can give you timelines, what we anticipate, which hopefully by next spring, we could have maybe some of the upper portions of it, depending on the weather. And then I would say for the marina piece, October 31st of next year. That's
So
probably
for the-
take it right down
That's
to
with the seawall.
the seawall piece of it, yes. Anything in below the high water mark.
October of 26.
31st of 26. The others we're anticipating, not guaranteed, we're anticipating based upon discussions with the Corps that they will give us a release once they get the muscle study back, and that's what Kevin is saying. So we should be able to start that this fall construction season. And a lot of that will then be weather dependent, if it stays dry, whether it gets up or whatever.
Does that also has to be completed by October
Yes,
31st?
everything.
Everything has to be done.
ACGP has to be completed by 10/31, yes.
So everything's going to be open by October 31st. Everything's the whole thing.
Everything
that we can afford to construct.
under ACGP, yes.
And the ODNR money that expires at the end, that I was referring to, I guess that is at the end of this year, can be extended.
We could probably get an extension, but we don't want to. We think we can get it completed by 12/31.
Right.
Is that a safe thing to say, Tim?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to try our
We're
best.
trying to lock down the scope by end of next week, hopefully.
Yeah. These are not, it's not big ticket, it's more the proceeds that get to it and things. I don't think the construction will be as long on that those pieces and things, so. Now the containers, Rick, you might want to report out on this.
Okay, well, on January 16th of this past year, I paid my $3,100 for the liquor license. And it's been one delay after another. Our field inspector came here on August 7th, which was a Thursday. She had some questions for Kevin. We did our best to answer everything that she wanted to have answered. The food permit's there, all the utilities are there and running and paying the bills every month on them. My liquor permit's gonna be due again come January, and it's another $3,100, so I feel the pain and frustration as you all do. So there are things we can't do, like pour concrete when we've got buildings that we need to have the excess water run out into the river. So a lot of these things are gonna be dependent upon site approvals and what the elevations are gonna be on things. So we're kind of in a holding pattern, but until we get that liquor permit, I can't even open the doors. I can sell hot dogs down there out of the food container, but that's what I can do at this point.
Is there anything that we are saying can do to help speed that up, right?
You just did. That's what that was, right?
I don't know what it was.
That was the
CR Festivals,
Yeah,
LLC?
yeah.
yeah. They sent it to them to have decide on a hearing or not.
So she was here on Thursday, and I said, "Hey, can I open tomorrow?" And she said, "No. Realistically, you're looking 6 to 8 weeks." And I said, "I've been waiting for 9 months, and the other issue is I still can't get the Postal Service to address that as 100 Center Street." I went to the Postal Service again yesterday, talked to Cindy behind there, and I said, "I'm just going to go ahead and mount the damn mailbox, whether the postmaster shows up or not. It's enough of this. I've been going for months trying to get him to tell me where he wants this, and it's not happening. So I'm just going to do it. And when the mail gets there, she's just going to call me, and I'm going to go pick it up."
You have to go to Colgrove, the 100 Center Street too.
Yeah.
Check in.
Yeah, make the
But it's been a lot of frustration. I know you guys are frustrated, but we're getting there, and it's. I'm hoping we can be open anytime. I'm just until Liquor Control sends it over, and if you guys got the ordinance, get it back to them. And it's been a whole summer that I would have.
Our role is to request a hearing or not, and we declined that. So,
Oh, okay.
So it should be sent out to them tomorrow.
And it doesn't seem to go too long after that. I might ask, Joe was the last person that got one. So.
Yeah, I talked to Jay Kehoe, and he said with his situation, of course, he finally had to hire an attorney in Columbus, just walked down the hallway, knocked on the door, and he had the permit in 2 days. It cost me $700, and I'll pay it if that's what it takes. I don't care. We got to get open. So
Robbie?
And my question was, I'm going to go back to Ralph. Ralph, you said that was bid out through what process? A C something?
CMAR.
CMAR?
Oh, yeah, the construction manager at risk. I don't want to go into a long story, but when we went into this, the state delayed the awards of those funds, I think, was it from October to May before we got authority, so we basically lost a construction season. Basically, when we went and submitted an application, we committed that we could get the project completed by October 31st. So we did that. See, all this permitting stuff would have normally been done during the winter months if we knew we had the funding and which projects would be and what they would be, to design. So we basically lost a whole construction season, or at least down to the very end of it on some of these. And we worked with Brickler and, not Eckler anymore, Brickler and Graydon, who's the legal counsel, and worked with the state and came up with the CMR. And basically it's where you procure the general contractor, and the competitiveness is based upon what they charge as fees and for construction management, contractor profit, and that type of thing. So you make the comparisons on that basis. Then they have to perform the work at cost, and they have to prove, and Brickler and Eckler is doing the reviews of that. So along with the design folks and things. So it's kind of complicated, but it's done a lot of times with big projects. And it's been a challenge, but we're working on it. And it allows you to go ahead and on projects, if something's being held up on a permit or whatever, you can go ahead and proceed with those other pieces of it. So that's a short essay on it.
I appreciate that. And my follow-up on that, is Allard the only bid that we had on that?
No, we bid them out there, and we bid them out for all 20-some projects, and we put it out there, and they identified what projects that they would like to be considered. And then, of course, in their bid packages, they gave their percentages and blah, 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 down the line and things for us to do comparisons. They all pretty much came in the same, but then one of the factors that we were looking at is pretty much we were able to award low bidder or whatever on those factors. And luckily we found one that were projects down towards the Cincinnati, New Richmond, and then Allard came from Portsmouth up to and including Memphis County, I'm thinking. Somewhere out police, and then I think on the way whatever. And then we got another one, or actually two of them, I think, on the eastern and northern, and then Collier got the Monet project. So.
I'm just curious because I have lots of doubts with Allard.
Huh?
I have lots of doubts with Allard at this point, but
Yeah.
it seems like that we're too far. So that seems like that we're already past that point.
Oh yeah, it's that, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we as the city didn't procure.
Right.
It goes through the.
yeah, it's CAO.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're always concerned. I mean, the other thing too is the ability to do bonds. So I mean, I can't remember how much Allard's total would be, but I mean, I think he had to come up with about an $80 million bond and stuff like that for these projects. So, and that in turn limited to what some contractors couldn't do and things too. So, but we're working, but we're anxious to get shovel on the ground. So.
Thank you all for the update.
Well, the good news is Drone 8 is looking amazing,
yes.
and it is way ahead of schedule, and those guys are in there 6 and 7 days a week, and I just can't wait for everybody in our community to see this. It is far exceeding anything I expected, so
Yeah.
that's the good news.
Yeah.
And that one's progressing ahead of time frame. I think we were hoping to be able to occupy the auditorium, but he's still projecting, I think, in November 1 of having it completed. So With that being said, we will have probably the first project in all of the ACGP second round projects completed. First one, so.
We're so lucky to have those guys as contractors. As frustrating you may be with one of them, these guys have went just above and beyond. And every day I go in there, it's like, wow, look at this. It's incredible. So.
Thank you.
We'll try to keep in touch.
Guess I don't have to announce that the rest is for audience participation.
Don't even have to say who I am, do I?
How about it?
Okay, Marion Tussey, 1507 Karen Street. Yes, I have several questions. The first, just out of curiosity, how much did it cost to rehome those mussels?
I'm curious on that too.
I don't want to lose my time waiting, but that's one question. My second question is on the you advertised for the economic development forgivable loan application. It was deadline by August 1st. Has that money been handed out? When they're handed out, will that be put?
He said no.
He said no.
Okay.
Will that be put out on the web so people can see who got it and how much they got? I think that's transparency right there, that it should be. If you're going to advertise to take it in, I think you should advertise it when you pass it out.
Yeah, we'll work to get that. I think that's a valid point. But,
We just notified everyone that applied usually, but
yeah, we can put that out in the media.
the mussels didn't cost us anything. I don't know what it cost.
Nothing to rehome the mussels.
Well, that's it's grant money.
I ate them all.
Did you?
Yeah, so there was the survey that they did, and then the cost to relocate.
Salt aid.
Yeah, so how much was that?
I have to check. I mean, that's ours.
Well, it'd be the state paid for it.
Yeah, it was all part of the grant, but yeah.
I am curious on that.
I'm just curious. And something else as far as transparency, I was noticing on the agenda, you all had listed the CRV festivals. It was referenced in the package, but it didn't say who owned that or who had a say in that. And I thought it would have been interesting to see a name besides, I don't know who CRV festivals are or what it is. And I just think to be transparent, there should have been a name of who represents that out there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the state board of liquor control
Yeah,
has that information,
That's the
and
business.
they send us only a would you request a hearing or not. That's the council's role in that.
So they don't give you a name of who?
It seems like we used to get
the Secretary of State.
It depends how they have it
Put in
listed.
that LLC, and it should show you who the members of it are.
We used to get a full page from them, Marianne, but now we just get an electronic request.
Okay. And on the Rice property, what are we looking at as far as, I know you're going to put houses in there. Are you going to put some restrictions so we get some nicer houses and not some little brick houses in there? I know when they did McPherson and they had those were Row and all them built, I thought there was some restrictions there that you had to build a $150,000 home or whatever. Are y'all going to do that as far as the Rice property? And those homes that are going to be built in there?
We put deed restrictions in there.
We haven't sold it. Yeah, I think that's still.
Well, I hope you'll consider that.
I think we had a higher number than that.
Well, I hope you do, because I know there are houses down there higher than that. But just something that I wanted to mention. Something else I wanted to mention too is all the, this is going back to vehicles that I talked about a couple months ago. I don't think all the city vehicles in the fleet are marked with a logo. And I'd just like to recommend that you do that so that the people you're allowing to drive those vehicles home are not taking advantage of the fact that this is a personal vehicle and the citizens of Ironton are paying for their insurance, their gas, the repairs of this vehicle. If you're going to allow them to go to Barbersville and Proctorville and Russell and all over the place, the citizens are paying for that. And I think they all should be marked so that it's not taken advantage of. And I know that not all of them are marked. So that's just a recommendation, another recommendation that I'd like to suggest. suggest. And since Mr. Haney left, I can't ask him how he likes his new driveway. I am really upset with that because there are people like me that have chips out of their driveway that were going to get patched. I don't know what's fair about that. My driveway was new and it was under 3 years old, and I have another driveway that's going the wrong direction. But I just wanted to voice my opinion that a lot of people's upset over that. Thank you.
I can't speak for Mr. Haney, but I can tell you it depends on whether it was related to the storm project or whether it was AEP or Columbia Gas. I mean, because like mine, for instance, mine got repaired. Yeah, it depends on where you're electric, but mine got repaired by Columbia Gas, so it had nothing to do with the city doing it. And so, I mean,
Well, I think if you drive down there, just not the curb.
I don't want that to linger out there as like, but
The gas company didn't, the gas company didn't do mine on either house. They were away from the driveway pretty much.
I'll let him answer it, but just know that there are other entities represented down there.
Well, I just wanted it, on paper and that I've said, what's fair about that you're a city council member, you got a new driveway, and you got people that got crappy driveways that's going to get patched. What's fair about that?
Point taken.
I mean, the disadvantage not being here, I mean, it is part of the project where they damaged there, and it's unfortunate that the contractor did that one before they got to any, but they were there on Batham Lane working. So, and it could be a process of when he got his request in versus when someone else did too. But there isn't like a
I'm not expecting.
There's not a priorities list based on if you're on council or not.
Well, his response to me was, Sam, Kevin, and Eric agreed it was a good time to do this. And I said, well, I guess it's who you know.
That's not true.
All right, moving on. Miscellaneous. Jacob.
I'll make a motion to accept this. Do we need to?
The July 2025 financials for the city. Do I have a second? Nate? Second. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany. Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Nate?
I'd like to mention that I invited Tracy Roach, our income tax clerk, originally for this meeting, but it's been postponed to our next meeting, to come as an invited guest to discuss software updates for income tax and some proposed updates in ordinance legislation language that she has gathered from the Ohio Municipal League and some other trainings that she has. She'd like to present that to us, so she'd be our invited guest if possible.
In regular council?
Yes.
Noted. Thank you. Robbie?
Yeah, I just would like to mention that in our strategic planning committee meeting tonight that we had further discussion on getting meeting minutes onto our website, and we have some first steps for that to happen in the near future. So we should be seeing adopted meeting minutes on our website before too long.
Nate?
I'd like to make a motion to go to executive session to discuss contracts and pending litigation, like 4 separate sessions. First with solicitor, IBI Kevin Wood, mayor, and Mr. Casely. Second with solicitor, mayor, and Mr. Casely, and Mr. Jansen. And a third and fourth, which is solicitor and mayor. No action to follow.
For
Contracts and litigation.
Did you say that at the beginning?
I did.
Zoned out.
It's all right.
I was thinking about Ironton being with it for a minute.
Yeah.
Jacob?
I'll second that motion.
Bob, time restrictions on any of that?
Yeah, how much time do you need?
I'm sorry, Bob.
Roll call, please.
Sorry.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Y'all, adjourn.